Hi there, on this very, very cold Thursday morning. This is not for show, this is freezing. Yeah, I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to the cold weather, but it's probably a bit of the South African in me who longs for February and January temperatures to be in the high 20s and the low 30s. I've just come back from walking our dog, and I think this hat is frozen to my head. It is cold, it is really cold. What I've been doing this week, for the last week, is I've been decluttering and moving my office around a bit. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Maybe I don't regret it a bit, but maybe a bigger job than I thought it was going to be. It got me thinking about how what I'm doing in my office is probably a lived out metaphor. It certainly is a metaphor, but maybe one that I'm living out of decluttering my mind, decluttering my life, moving things into a position where they are more productive, or where they can help me to be more fruitful, and sorting out the things that have sat there on the shelves untouched for far too long. There are some things, as I was taking them off the shelf, I was thinking to myself, this was in a box when we moved to Armagh, and it came up the box and it sat on the shelf, and it sat there until it came to packing up the office to move to Cookstown, and it went back into a box, and it arrived in Cookstown, and it's gone back onto the shelf, and it's sat there untouched since it's been unpacked. And I suppose there are things like that in our lives, things that are there that are maybe not serving a purpose, that are maybe not being as fruitful as they could be. Because you see, the thing, when I took them off, it wasn't a case of, well, I've not touched these for years, so I'm just going to throw them away. Some of them I looked at and I thought to myself, these are things that I really want to be doing. Yes, some stuff that I really want to be working on, Bible studies that I want to do, develop, sermons that I wanted to revisit and maybe look at them again. And they've sat there untouched, and there are things that I don't want to throw away. What they are, they're things that I want to bring back into the forefront of what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. So these things are sitting on the desk now, waiting for me to get to them, rather than forgotten somewhere on a shelf in the corner of the office. And I suppose our lives are like that too. There are things that we would like to be doing that have just been pushed to the side because other things have taken over. Not necessarily because they're more important, but they've just taken over, and maybe there's a bit of decluttering in our lives that we need to do as well. Thinking about what is it that we really want to be doing, what is it that's preventing us from doing them, and is there a bit of shuffling around that we need to do in our lives. So those things that are important to us, those things that will be fruitful in the way we do them, or because we're doing them, maybe we need to bring them more to the center of our focus and the center of our attention. And of course there are things that maybe need to be thrown away, that maybe need to be set aside, and that we need to look at them and go, these are not helpful, these are not making me productive, these are not helping me be fruitful, they're not helping me be all that God wants me to be. And these are things that we have to do, and sometimes it's voices, negative voices, that maybe tell us all the things that we're not, rather than affirm who we are. Maybe voices that tell us all the things that we need to do to be acceptable, and by listening to them, we're not hearing God's voice saying that what makes you acceptable is not what you need to do, but what's already done. Now I think of those last words of Jesus on the cross: it is finished. You know, the work is already done that makes us acceptable to God. And so maybe it's a good time, while things are not back to normal, while we're patiently waiting, or maybe impatiently waiting, for restrictions to be eased, wondering what's going to be eased in a few weeks' time, wondering what's not going to be eased, what we're able to do, what we're not going to be able to do. Maybe now is the time to be thinking about what is it that we want to be doing? What is it that's going to be fruitful in our lives? What's it going to be that is going to fulfill what God is calling us to, how God has created you, the way He has made you with your passions and your interests and your gifting? and to think about the things that are preventing you from doing that, and maybe they need to be shuffled to the side so that you can flourish, that you can be all that God calls you to be, that you can prosper, not materially, but prosper in your faith, prosper emotionally, prosper spiritually, prosper mentally, and who knows where that will go. But maybe it's not a bad time to do a bit of reshuffling and a bit of decluttering in our lives. Take care of yourselves, keep safe, be sensible in all the things that you're doing. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There always has been light at the end of the tunnel. And maybe sometimes we've just focused too much on the dark tunnel rather than the light that's there. So keep your eyes on the light. There is a light, it shines in the darkness. That's what the Bible tells us. And the darkness will never overcome it. So God bless, take care, and bye-bye.